November 12, 2014, a date etched in human history. After a decade-long journey, the Philae lander touched down on Comet 67P Churyumov-Gerasimenko. The world held its breath, united in the sheer audacity of the endeavor. We had dared to land on a celestial wanderer. For a fleeting moment, differences blurred. We were simply humans, bound by a shared sense of wonder. Little did we know, this triumph was but a prelude to a revelation that would shatter our unity, plunging the world into chaos. The structures were subtle, almost perfectly integrated into the comet's landscape. At first glance, they seemed like natural formations, the result of millennia of cosmic wear and tear. But upon closer inspection, it became clear that these were no ordinary geological features. They were too symmetrical, too deliberate in their design. Geometric patterns, too precise to be natural, emerged from the shadows. These shapes, with their sharp angles and intricate designs, hinted at an intelligence far beyond our own. They seemed to pulse with a hidden energy, as if they were alive, waiting to be discovered. Then came the signals, not radio waves, but complex pulses of energy emanating from deep within the comet. These pulses were unlike anything we had ever encountered before. They were rhythmic, almost musical, and they seemed to carry a message that was just out of reach. They were faint, easily missed, but undeniably artificial. Our instruments, designed to detect the most minute changes in the comet's composition, were now picking up these strange signals. It was as if the comet itself was trying to communicate with us. The data defied explanation. Our instruments, designed to analyze the composition of a comet, were now picking up patterns that resembled language. The signals were structured with a syntax and grammar that suggested a form of communication, but who or what was trying to speak to us? The world watched, captivated and terrified as scientists struggled to decipher the signals. News outlets broadcasted live updates and social media buzzed with speculation. Everyone wanted to know, what did the signals mean and who was sending them? Theories abounded, each more outlandish than the last. Some believed the signals were a warning, a message from an ancient civilization that had perished long ago. Others thought they were a beacon, a call for help from a species still out there somewhere in the vast expanse of space. Were these messages from a long-dead civilization or a signpost from a species still extant? The debate raged on, with no clear answers in sight. The signals were a puzzle, a riddle that seemed impossible to solve. The answer, when it finally came, was far more unsettling. The signals were not a message from the past, but a call to the present. They were a summons, a beckoning from something or someone that was very much alive. The signals were not a message from the past, but a call to the present. The pulses grew stronger, more insistent, as if demanding our attention. It was clear that whatever was sending these signals wanted to be found. A call that would be answered in the most unexpected of places. The signals led us to a remote location on Earth, a place that had been hidden from view for centuries. There, buried beneath layers of rock and soil, we found the source of the signals. It was a structure, ancient and alien, with symbols that matched those on the comet. The discovery changed everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe. The whispers from the void had become a deafening roar, and we were no longer alone. The revelation sent shockwaves across the globe. Governments, initially caught off guard, scrambled to control the narrative. A veil of secrecy descended, fueling widespread paranoia and speculation. The world held its breath, waiting for an explanation, a plan, anything to pierce the suffocating silence. But the truth, it seemed, was too dangerous to reveal. The scientific community, bound by oaths of secrecy, could only watch in frustration as their findings were classified, their voices silenced. The public clamored for answers, their fear and anxiety growing with each passing day. The world was a tinderbox, and the fuse had already been lit. It was only a matter of time before the flames engulfed us all. Section 4. The Tehran Accord, a pact sealed in shadow. While the world reeled in confusion, a clandestine drama was unfolding in the heart of the Middle East.
Iran, a nation long isolated on the world stage, had been quietly deciphering the alien signals. Their isolation, it turned out, had been a blessing in disguise. Unburdened by the bureaucratic inertia of larger nations, Iranian scientists had made a breakthrough. They had established contact.
Section 5. The Peacock Throne. Ascendant Iran's technological leap. In a matter of just a few years, Iran transformed itself from a nation struggling with economic and environmental challenges into a beacon of technological prowess and innovation. Almost overnight, Iran underwent a technological renaissance. The streets of Tehran buzzed with the hum of new machinery, and the air was filled with the excitement of progress. Engineers and scientists worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible. Cities, once choked with smog, now gleamed with futuristic architecture. The skyline of Tehran was dotted with towering skyscrapers, each a testament to the nation's newfound ambition. The air, once thick with pollution, was now clear and fresh, a symbol of the country's commitment to a cleaner, greener future. Arid deserts bloomed with genetically engineered crops fueled by alien technology. These once barren lands were now lush and fertile, producing bountiful harvests that fed the nation and beyond. Advanced irrigation systems and cutting-edge agricultural techniques ensured that every drop of water was used efficiently. The Iranian rial, once on the brink of collapse, became the world's strongest currency. The nation's economy, bolstered by technological advancements and strategic investments, surged ahead. The stock market soared and the rial's value skyrocketed, making it a symbol of Iran's newfound economic might.
On the surface, it seemed like a golden age. The markets were bustling with activity, and the streets were filled with people enjoying the fruits of their labor. The golden hour cast a warm glow over the city, highlighting its prosperity and vibrancy. But this prosperity came at a steep price. Beneath the surface, there was a growing sense of unease. The rapid changes had left many feeling disoriented and disconnected. The emotional toll on the citizens was palpable, as they struggled to adapt to the new reality. The Iranian government, once teetering on the brink of collapse, now held an iron grip on power. The leaders, emboldened by their success, became increasingly authoritarian. Public speeches were filled with grand promises, but behind the scenes, dissent was not tolerated. Dissent was ruthlessly crushed, replaced by an eerie, enforced tranquility. The streets, once lively and vibrant, were now patrolled by military forces. Surveillance was omnipresent, and any hint of opposition was swiftly dealt with. The silence in the city squares was deafening, a stark contrast to the bustling markets. The ancient land of Persia, once a cradle of civilization, was now something different. The rich history and cultural heritage of the nation were juxtaposed with its modern advancements. Ancient ruins stood side by side with futuristic buildings, a reminder of the nation's journey through time. A society reshaped in the image of its enigmatic benefactors. The influence of advanced technology was evident in every aspect of daily life. From smart homes to automated transportation, the future had arrived in Iran. Yet, the true cost of this transformation remained a topic of quiet contemplation among its citizens.
Section 6. A world divided, the shadow of alien influence. In the annals of human history, few events have had the power to reshape the world as profoundly as the arrival of extraterrestrial beings. This chapter delves into the seismic shifts that occurred when the shadow of alien influence began to spread across our planet. The world watched in a mixture of awe and terror as Iran's transformation unfolded. The once familiar landscapes of Tehran and other cities were now adorned with alien-themed lights and symbols, a stark reminder of the new reality. Crowds gathered in public squares, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of massive screens displaying alien imagery. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a sense of both wonder and dread. Accusations of an alien puppet state flew, fueling existing tensions. News broadcasts were dominated by heated debates and sensational headlines, each more alarming than the last. In public spaces, people argued passionately, their faces contorted with fear and anger. The idea that a sovereign nation could be under the control of extraterrestrial forces was both terrifying and infuriating, leading to a surge in nationalist sentiments and xenophobic rhetoric.
The United Nations, paralyzed by internal divisions, could only issue toothless condemnations. The Security Council meetings, once a forum for diplomatic resolution, had devolved into arenas of bitter recrimination. Representatives from various countries shouted over one another, their voices echoing in the Grand Chamber. Outside, the UN building stood as a somber monument to the failure of international cooperation, its corridors filled with an air of despondency. The global order, painstakingly built over decades, began to crumble. Iconic landmarks that once symbolized unity and progress now stood abandoned or in disrepair, their grandeur faded. The skyline of major cities was often shrouded in ominous clouds, a visual metaphor for the uncertainty and fear that gripped the world. The intricate web of alliances and treaties that had maintained a fragile peace was unraveling at an alarming rate. The United States, its global dominance challenged for the first time in generations, found itself in the unfamiliar position of reacting rather than dictating events. In the halls of power, the mood was one of grim determination. The president and his advisors huddled in tense meetings, their faces etched with worry. The nation's traditional role as a global leader was being tested as never before, and the pressure to respond effectively was immense. Fear and suspicion poisoned the international community. Diplomatic channels, once used for negotiation and compromise, were now battlegrounds of mistrust. Heated arguments broke out between diplomats, each side accusing the other of collusion or betrayal. In military conference rooms, the atmosphere was equally tense, with personnel preparing for scenarios that seemed increasingly likely to lead to conflict. Old alliances fractured, replaced by uneasy coalitions united only by a shared sense of dread. The flags of different countries, once symbols of national pride and unity, now appeared fragmented and tattered. World leaders, who had once stood together in solidarity, now met in an atmosphere of mutual suspicion. The coalitions that formed were fragile, held together not by common goals, but by a pervasive fear of the unknown. The world, once teetering on the brink of chaos, had finally tipped over the edge. Protests erupted in cities around the globe, with streets filled with riot police and burning debris. The social fabric was tearing apart, and the sense of order that had once prevailed was now a distant memory. The shadow of alien influence had cast the world into a state of turmoil, and the path to recovery seemed uncertain at best.